talked with God?
That's right. As I'll talk to you.
Tell me about that.
Well, now, sir, this is the way I am about a God. If God told us that if we ask, we shall receive. Seek, you shall find. Knocking, it shall be open. And God has told us that He says to do unto others as you would have Him to do unto you.
Mm-hmm. You talk to God in this room?
In this way.
Uh-huh.
And then we know that the prayers of God, He says He hears all things and knows all things.
Mm-hmm.
And does all things. There is nothing without Him that He should not hear. But it's this way with me and my God. I ask God to help me to learn these things that I know. And you know, He's the greatest physician that ever lived.
Mm-hmm. And He helped you learn things.
He helped me learn what I know today. And I've got no other man to thank but Him.
And you've been learning about
the things of nature. Mm-hmm. In that case, that's the reason I said as I did this morning. Because I know the things of nature, because God has given me the wisdom and the knowledge to understand it.
Uh-huh. What have you learned about nature?
Well, I've learned nature is a great thing to be in existence. And when nature goes away from you, then there's in the remora for the nature that happened. Mm-hmm. And that's all of human life has been on the face of the earth. Mm-hmm. It's God's got it record somewhere. Now we know that, don't we?
And you were studying engineering too?
Yes, that's right. I was studying engineering.
Uh-huh.
And I'd studied engineer work from my grandfather's side. Uh-huh. My grandfather was the greatest engineer that ever lived. Mm-hmm. And he died in 1930. And I told God then, I said, well, God, I was this way. I said, God, if you let me live and work and study and all, I want to be a good man, and I want to be a Christian man and a religious man, and to know how to talk to men and people of the world. Mm-hmm. Because I can sit down and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Mm-hmm. But do you know what it does for us? It's good for our minds and our bodies and all to talk.
You like to talk?
That's right. I like to study too. I like to have things before me to study. And you can't study without having a book, can you? You got to have a book on everything you want to study. It's to be a good one, you have to have it. And I've learned something today that I'll have to go back and study about my pharmacy. Work, that means my drugs.
You found out today that you need to know more about your drugs.
Drugs, that's right. Because we got to know, the doctor's got to know whatever description is and whatever drug and whatever name it is, and they've got books to prove it. It's what it is because they've got manuscripts.
Mm-hmm. So you can be a doctor.
That's right. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you how I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn it with my dictionary that I have at home. Mm-hmm. I have one of the greatest dictionaries that's ever been put out at home. It's a Latin edition. Mm-hmm. And it's got lots of stuff in there that we need to be called doctors. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go back and read that thing and read it and study it out and put it in my memory where I can put it down on paper.
Mm-hmm. All about drugs.
That's right. Mm-hmm. About drugs and about engineering and all of it, because I'm going to put it in my head. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good place to have it, but if I die and let it be, that's all right. Mm-hmm. But the way I told you a while ago, we have to get these words and things in our mind to study. We have to study the ways of nature goes, the way the human race exists, and the governments, and the armies, and the navies, and all them is part of the universe. Mm-hmm. And we got to know how they're studying and how they know it. Mm-hmm. And they know it by studying.
And you're going to study about the armies and navies too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to study in all kinds of fields when I get back home. Mm-hmm. And I need, because I'm going to what I'm going to be. Because I'm going to be a great man. And the reason I'm so smart like I am, I had a book one time that I got from a correspondence school. It had all this stuff in it. And I'll tell you what happened to it. It got burned up.
How'd that happen? Well,
I was gone from home sometime, and my daddy and him cleaned out my books, and when I got back, they had burned up.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I don't know how they got them burnt, but the trouble, it was burned up. When I asked them where they was at, they said they got burned. Mm-hmm. And that may be what's wrong with me today. I've got a few books now, but I ain't got as many books as I used to have.
You like to have more books?
Yes, I'd like to have some more books. And like I told you, I want some on chemistry and science and mathematics. Mm-hmm. Because I want to be great in mathematics and geometry and all this other. And then I want to be a smart doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm going to be a smart doctor, I've got a lot to learn. That's what.
Fine. You remember we talked about sayings, what sayings mean
Yeah.
and everything? Could you tell me what this saying means? A rolling stone gathers no moss. Ever hear that?
No, sir.
It's a saying.
I've never heard that.
Uh-huh. What do you think it might mean?
Couldn't tell you.
How about when the cat's away, the mice will play?
That's right. They will.
You ever hear that saying?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, that means they don't never leave the cat and the mouse together.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to take one away from the other to make them get about. You got to put the mice in to let the cat run, and then you have to put the cat up to let the mice run, because they won't run together. And is that the way with a cat and a dog? You have to put the cat up the tree for the dog. He'll run him up the tree.
They don't get along so well.
No, cats and dogs don't get along good. Kind of like to run each other.
Uh-huh.
One likes to run away from the other, and the other likes to run him.
Mm-hmm. How about a penny saved is a penny earned?
That's right. It's always that way. Because it takes pennies to make dollars. And dollars to make a lot of money.
You hear people use that saying sometimes?
Yeah, but you know what I'm always said about the day that I told you about? You know or you don't know. And that's the way I am about speaking to anybody. I just like you did this morning, you asked me a question, and you give you one my interpretation of what I really know and what I didn't. You just said don't know. And that's the way I am about being in a conference and all. I can tell you what I know, and I can't tell you nothing else. Well, now this is the way it is. See, a man is by his ability. There's mine. Well, I got great things in my mind, but I don't want to get out in the world and make a living because I can't do it and stay at home. You know yourself that you can't be in two places. And if this business helps me, I don't believe I'll ever be able to do any kind of game of work. What I mean to work, because of my handicap and arm here, I couldn't do it. But I could show other people what I could do with my hands and all about their help. You see, they could take one end of it and me the other, and we could do things. Because I can tote pretty good in this one hand. I'm a pretty good man. I got a good arm on this side. But now this other side, I ain't no good. But now what I need to do is to have somebody to help me, be an assistant to me, and let me be the boss.
You want to be the boss?
That's right. I've been qualified for the boss. Don't you think I am? Because look, I went and educated myself. I went and fixed myself up to where I could be a boss. And now if they want to take the education away from me, then they're going to have to kill me.
You make a good boss.
I'd make a good boss because, listen, sir, I've done have the experience to make a good boss. Because you'd have to work with the assistant to make a good boss. You'd have to work with him and do everything he would. Is that right? To make a good assistant doctor or an intern, you have to study it and learn it. Well, I was 15 years old when I started learning the doctoring business. Now, you know where I was at? They didn't let me. They examined me and they worked on me and they operated on me, but they had a special place that I always studied every day. And you know why I studied? I studied with my eyes.
What do you do for recreation?
I don't have any.
Do you have a girlfriend?
Nope.
Have you ever gone out with girls?
Nope.
Why is that?
I just don't like it. I just don't have the instincts. I'm just not I'm educated enough and all, but I just don't they just don't associate with me a cripple. And so I've done found that out, and so I've just quit fooling with them.
Yes. You don't have any instincts, you say?
No, not with a woman, I don't. Because on account of the way I figure it, now I may be wrong saying this, but I figure a woman is just like a brick wall. You can't get around it, you can't go through it, and you can't get over it. Now, what do you think about that?
So women aren't too easy, huh?
No, they're like a brick wall to me.
They ever give you any trouble?
No, they have never given me no trouble because I don't associate around them enough for them to get me in trouble.
Does anybody ever give you any trouble?
Well, now I guess we've all been mad because you know why? You got to watch what you're talking about a man, but if you don't, you may get mad. Now, won't you?
You've gotten mad sometimes?
Yes, sir. And I do things I should not do when I get mad.
What do you do?
Well, now the Bible says, get angry, but don't sin not. And when a man gets angry, he sins. Because he does things within himself that he wouldn't do if he hadn't been mad.
What have you done that you shouldn't have?
Talk too much.
You ever gotten in trouble doing something you shouldn't have?
Nope. I never have been in trouble in my life.
Well, now, you're going to be a great man. You're going to learn a lot.
That's right. That's right.
And
I don't know if the world will have any use for me. See, I'm like this. The world ain't going to have no use for a good man.
Why not?
I just don't know why, but I just my instincts. They just don't have no use for a good man. Because we all going to pass away here.
You're going to learn enough to be a minister.
And a doctor.
And a doctor.
That's right.
And an engineer. And an engineer.
And I can do it all three in myself. Because I want to help them in the church work. And then I want to help the engineers. And then I want to help like I told you about the teaching. The mathematics business because of the science field. Because I think I can do it.